Welcome to a retrospective journey into the 20th century, a time when jobs, now part of nostalgic tales, were the fabric of everyday life. Envision an era where the hum of a mimeograph machine was a sign of activity and the milkman's daily visits were as consistent as the weather report. These roles, though eclipsed by the digital age's march, were the understated stars of a simpler, less plugged-in time. So, grab a comfy seat and a cup of joe, and let's take a stroll down memory lane, revisiting the jobs that kept the world spinning before the internet took over the wheel. Manual switchboard operators played a crucial role in early telephone systems, connecting callers before automated systems. Typically depicted surrounded by cables, these operators facilitated connections by physically linking circuits. A caller would contact the central office, where an operator would connect wires to establish the call. This process required skill and attentiveness as operators controlled conversations and could listen in. The job, primarily held by women, demanded courtesy, diligence, and discretion. Women were valued for their ability to handle circuits swiftly and maintain a gentle demeanor, essential for managing connections effectively. Despite challenging conditions, these operators were pioneers, connecting people globally and laying the foundation for modern telecommunication. Telegraphy was a massive hit in the communications sector in the 19th and 20th centuries. It involved transmitting messages with telegraphs over long distances. The telegraphists received messages, then decoded and translated Morse code into written text and relayed these messages over telegraph lines to the recipients. At its peak, especially during times of war, operating a telegraph was an essential job, so this position provided pretty good pay. These telegraphists served as information transmitters that served soldiers and other military workers on land or at sea. They were crucial military messengers and served as a massive stepping stone in communications. But in the late 19th century, they were replaced by the telephone and other new telecommunications. Lamplighters illuminated the night, equipped with brass-tipped staffs to ignite street lamps as dusk descended. Their routine involved briskly traversing streets, lighting each lamp until dawn heralded their return to extinguish the flames. Although not overly strenuous, lamplighters typically managed routes comprising 70 to 80 lamps, earning around $2 per day. Unlit gas jets often prompted taxpayer complaints. Work intensity fluctuated with seasons, with constant lamp counts, but varying effort levels. After their nightly rounds, they breakfasted before tackling the most labor-intensive task, cleaning. Despite the challenges, lamplighters faithfully brightened the urban landscape, embodying a bygone era's essential service. Nowadays, we have technology at the tip of our fingers, and all it takes to send a message is a simple tap of a button. Yes, we've come a long way in telecommunication, but it wasn't always this easy. Dispatch riders were handy little fellas, or ladies, when it came to transferring information in the past. In the early 1900s, these message bearers were dispatched to get urgent messages from persons A to B. They were particularly common during the years of World Wars I and II, functioning as messengers for the military. They were regarded as a more reliable way to send messages than radio transmissions. In today's age, we just tap some buttons on a smartphone, and voila, a message is sent. In ancient times, town criers relayed vital information to communities, catering to the illiterate populace. Messages were later posted at local hubs, hence the term post in modern journalism. Beyond news dissemination, their duties encompassed maintaining order, enforcing curfews, and even announcing public executions. Armed with literacy, a commanding voice, and a sense of authority, they were compensated per proclamation. Protected by law, harming them constituted treason, reflecting their vital role in governance. Today's town criers, adorned in elaborate attire reminiscent of the 18th century, continue this tradition at local gatherings and competitions, preserving a rich cultural heritage. Thanks to the birth of centralized water reserve systems, this laborious job of lugging water around no longer exists. But before we were as privileged as we are today with running water, which we take for granted, water carriers collected and carried containers of water about to sell to the general public. The hardest part was probably transporting the water, which was usually collected from water sources such as rivers or water wells. In the late 1800s, this was a popular occupation in China during the Qing dynasty, with over 1,000 water carriers wandering about central China. These hirelings hiked barefoot to show that they went to the deep trenches of the rivers to get the most purified water. The title catchpole was a lot more quirky than the actual occupation. Stemming from the early English term caisse and the early Latin term pullus, meaning chick, the role of catchpole, otherwise known as a debt collector, came to life. Debt collectors are, of course, still around today, but their title seems a bit less ludicrous, and their practice is a bit more constitutional than their historical counterparts. Catchpoles had the power to arrest debtors and snatch valuable goods, and usually did so in abusive and aggressive fashions. Catchpoles were to be avoided at all costs, as they moved around with intimidation, threats, and physical force to collect debts, at times leading to public outcry. Cotton beamers, also known as drawer-ins, played a big part in textile manufacturing in the thriving cotton industry of the Industrial Revolution. Cotton beamers had the not-so-beaming job of maneuvering beams of yarn about. This was a tedious job, as yielding one bale of cotton demanded over 600 hours of labor in its early days. In the mid-1800s, America became a cotton superstar. Called King Cotton, Southern America turned cotton into the backbone of the region's economy. Sadly, the cornerstone of cotton workers before the mid-1800s was led by enslaved African Americans. After slavery was abolished, cotton remained a large source of revenue for the states. But this occupation was replaced by machinery in the mid-19th century. Ice cutters braved frozen water bodies in winter, harvesting ice for personal use or sale. Before refrigeration, ice boxes or small ice houses preserved food. Rural families sometimes cut their own ice, but urban households relied on ice deliveries. With ice at least a foot thick, cutters cleared snow, scored the surface, then sawed through. Channels guided ice blocks to be hauled onto carriages for delivery. This perilous work was often done in harsh weather, risking falls through thin ice. The 19th and early 20th centuries saw a thriving ice trade until fridges became common. Today, while rare, ice cutting persists for sculptures, ice hotels, and structures. Before reliable alarm clocks, knocker-uppers filled the need for timely awakening. They catered especially to early shift workers. Employing light sticks or soft hammers, they tapped windows at precise times, ensuring clients woke without disturbing neighbors. Some even used pea shooters. Following tight schedules, they moved from house to house, ensuring everyone arose promptly. While some ensured clients woke before departing, others hurriedly moved on. Initially abundant, the profession waned with the advent of affordable alarm clocks in the early 20th century. Milk delivery in the United States emerged alongside industrialization, as urban dwellers lacked space for a family cow. Thus, they turned to local dairy farmers for milk, heralding the birth of the milkman. Initially, milk was transported in bulk containers, with customers using their own vessels for collection. The invention of the glass milk bottle in 1878 revolutionized delivery, ensuring freshness and facilitating measurement. However, without refrigeration, daily delivery remained essential to prevent spoilage. Innovations like insulated boxes and milk trucks kept pace with changing times, but suburban expansion in the mid-1900s posed new challenges, leading to the decline of traditional milk delivery. Today, a resurgence in interest fueled by local dairies offering community delivery suggests a potential revival of this once cherished service. During the 1800s, The Industrial Revolution created a thriving manufacturing sector, leading to urbanization and a swift change in economic growth. The working class was still poor and accepted harsh working conditions, which would be frowned upon in today's day and age. Quarrymen were the guys working relentlessly in quarry sites to mine and extract stones and other valuable resources for the construction industry. It was a tough job, only suited to the resilient. In modern times, the mining and quarrying industry is highly automated, requiring less physical labor thanks to advancements in technology and machinery. Ultimately, this job has been made obsolete due to the introduction of heavy machinery such as excavators, bulldozers, and conveyor systems. The rat catcher's duty was to eradicate pests in cities, akin to today's exterminators. Rats and mice spread diseases like the plague, threatening food supplies in an era sans refrigeration. Black rats dwelled among people, infiltrating homes and straw beds. Despite the risks, rat catchers held esteemed roles, crucial for public health. Their job was grim, navigating filth and handling disease-ridden rodents. They employed trained animals or traps to capture vermin, or sold poisoning powders and traps. Some claimed expertise in chasing away pests, while others relied on spells. Rat buyers offered to rid homes of vermin, even compensating homeowners. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Check out our videos for more insights. Remember to like and subscribe for more.